Trainer. Today we're going to be talking more about macros. So I know I have a video already talking about how to set up your macros, whether you want to lose weight, maintain, or gain weight. This is going to be kind of a follow-up video to that one. Now what we're going to be talking about is how to track your macros. So a couple things you need first is you really want to be able to set up your macros and have that ready to go. So you want to have your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, and if you're able to, even your fiber, that'll be pretty good to have all ready to go. So you know exactly what you're trying to hit for that day, what your totals are for that day or for the week, whatever it is. After that, then you're gonna go ahead and start developing a meal plan, whether it's stuff that you want to change daily or if it's something that you want to keep consistent. Whatever it is, completely up to you. Now what you guys are gonna need is a food scale. So you can get a food scale pretty much anywhere. You can get them from like Walmart, Target, Ross, all those places. You can get them pretty cheap. This one I got at Walmart, I think like 15 bucks, something like that. So not expensive at all, but it is gonna be very, very crucial to measuring your food. Now what I'm gonna do is I have a few things here. That way I can show you different ways of measuring it, and everything that I have, I'm gonna make sure that I have the totals up on the screen for the proteins, fats, and carbs, and calorie count. That way you can kind of get an idea of how to track your macros and how to track your calories. So first things first, I guess we'll start with a basic sandwich. So right here we have some bread. Now the count for this is based off of 2 slices of bread. So I have 4 here, so whatever the macros are on the nutrition label, I'm going to double it. So 2 breads, I got some jelly, and then some peanut butter right here. Now these aren't already served, obviously we're going to have to measure this. So this is where a food scale is going to come into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lid off right here, turn on the scale, and then once it's on, I'm going to go ahead and set this down. Now you're going to notice it's already going to have the weight right here. So there's a couple other buttons. We have unit, 0, and then on and off. Now that we have this, we need to find it at 0. Because we're going to be subtracting weight. That's going to be the easiest way to find out what you need to get. So I'm going to 0 that real quick. Now we're looking at 32 grams per serving of peanut butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out peanut butter until it says negative 32, and that's going to show me that I took out 32 grams, so I know I have the right measurement. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright guys, so if you want to take a look right here, it says negative 32 grams. So that's pretty much telling me that I got the measurement right. So if you look, it's about this much peanut butter, so not bad. I'll spread that around. Now, obviously we will do that for the second side since we're going to have 2 sandwiches. We're going to get the jelly now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side. Open this bad boy up. And for this one, we are looking at, I think it's 20 grams. Yes, we're looking at 20 grams per serving. So we're going to do the same thing, apply the same method. We're going to let this sit down right here, and we want to make sure we 0 the scale. So we want to know how much we take out. So right now it's at 0, I have it on grams, and we're going to measure out 20 grams just like so. So now we have it right here at negative 20 grams, pretty much showing me that I got the right amount of jelly for the sandwich, and I can go based off this nutrition label. Now, it's not to say that you're limited to the amount on the nutrition label. If you wanted to go a little bit over, a little bit under the serving, whatever it is, we'll just have to go back to 3rd grade, use a little bit of math, and figure out how much each macros are for the amount that you had. So for instance, if I wanted to double it, I'd multiply it by 2. If I wanted to use half, I'd divide it by 2, and so on and so forth. You want to make sure that you figure it out for how much you're eating for that serving. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff to the side. So for the next part, we're not going to need the scale, so I'm going to put it to the side real quick. It's talking a little bit about whether you want to, or talking about your proteins and your carbs. Now depending on what it is, you're going to be tracking it cooked or not cooked because of water content. Now when you cook your meat, so for instance I have chicken right here. When you're cooking your meats, you want to make sure that you track it cooked because that's going to have the least amount of water in them. And then when you're tracking your carbs such as rice, pastas, things of that sort, things that's going to add water to it once you cook it, you want to make sure you measure it dry. So for instance, with rice, based off the serving size that is said on the nutrition label, it was 1/4 cup. So I have 1/4 cup measured here. If that's what you wanted, you would go ahead and cook this, clean it out, all that good stuff. And then however much it makes cooked, it's still gonna be the same measurement. You're still gonna track it as it was dry, not when it was cooked. For your meats, it's gonna be the opposite. You wanna cook it, you wanna measure it when it's cooked because that's gonna have the least water content in that. So right here, I have a 4th. For the chicken, it was based off of 4 ounces. I have 8 ounces right here. So I'm gonna double whatever the nutrition label says for 4 ounces because I have 8. So just to show you the 8 ounces, I'm gonna make sure that we change the units right over here to ounces. I'm gonna bring the plate on top, and because we don't want to count the plate of the weight, obviously we want to only measure the chicken. We're gonna zero that out. So now that it's at 0, I'm gonna go ahead and toss the chicken right on here. So pretty much a little over 8 ounces, it's all good. So like I said, I would double what it says on the nutrition label because I'm doubling the serving. Right here I have just the serving amount, so I wouldn't change it, I wouldn't mess with it at all. I would go based off what the nutrition label says. Now the next part, what if you're talking about fluids? What if you're gonna have something to drink, whether it was juice, milk, whatever the case is, right? Protein shakes is a little bit different. That you would obviously go based off the nutrition label because it tells you everything that you need to know right then and there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the cup down because I'm gonna use a little bit of apple juice, and I know the sugar content, I know, but so what, it's okay. I wanna make sure again that I have it in ounces. So I'm gonna zero it out right there. And for this one, we're looking at 8 fluid ounces. Now I think I'm only gonna do half. I think I'm only gonna do 4 fluid ounces. So whatever it says right here on the nutrition label, I'm gonna cut that in half because I'm only using half of what is the serving size. So right there, now we have 4 ounces. Pretty much exactly what I'm looking for within my serving size. Now that we have all the food tracked and measured, we can now get our totals. So we have our bread, we're gonna count it up. We use two serving sizes for the bread. We're gonna make sure that we count that in. We're gonna have 2 serving sizes of the peanut butter and of the jelly because we're having 2 sandwiches. Half of the serving size for the juice, and then double of the serving for chicken, and just 1 serving of rice. So once you guys have that all tracked, you can add it up. Do this for every single meal, guys. Do this for every single meal. That way you know exactly what you're eating. And if you get good at this and you want to put together an actual meal plan, it makes it that much easier because consistency is gonna be king overall. But that's it for this part. I'll go ahead and go over the totals with you guys in the next clip. Alright guys, so for this part of the video is where we're going to be breaking down the macros and their calorie count. So right here at the very top we have the total per serving for the slices of bread. Now for the bread it was for 2 slices and I had 2 servings of that. So everything here will be doubled. Now if we come over to this part, this is where we have everything doubled. So the 4 grams of protein times 2 is 8. 28 grams of carbs times 2 is 56, and then the 1.5 grams of fat times 2 equals out to 3. So depending on how much you have or how much you're eating in comparison to what's on the nutrition label, you want to make sure that you get the correct amount that you had for your meal. So this would be the total for what I would have had. Now we're going to break it down into their calorie contents for the grams of each macronutrient. So for the protein, we're looking at 8 grams, 56 grams for carbs, and then 3 grams for fat. Now, if you remember in the last video that I was talking about macronutrients, proteins are at 4 calories per gram, 4 calories per gram, 4 calories per gram for carbs as well. And fats are the outlier. They are at 9 calories per gram. So if we multiply them each by their respective calorie count, we get 32 grams of 32 calories for protein, 224 calories for carbs, and 27 calories for fat. And then I also listed them all right here on the side as well. If you were to break down the total for all this, you're looking at 283 calories just within the bread alone. So I want you guys to go ahead and repeat this process
Make sure that you have the correct amount of grams for each macronutrient for everything you eat and the total amount of calories for everything you eat. Now that we have the bread, we're going to take a look at everything else. I have the totals for everything that I consume, so I already did the math on all of it. I only have the totals of what was actually going to be tracked, not necessarily what was only on the nutrition label. So for instance, for the total amount of proteins in the peanut butter, carbs, and fats, we're looking at 14 grams of protein, 12 grams of carbs, and 32 grams of fat, looking at a total of 332 calories. Jelly, we're looking at 0 for protein and fat, and 26 grams of carbs, coming out at 104 calories. Chicken, we're looking at 23 grams of fat, 0 grams of 23 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, and 2.5 grams of fat, coming in at 114.5 calories. For the rice, we're looking at 0 grams of fat, 3 grams of protein, 35 grams of carbs. Juice, 0 protein, 0 fat, and 14 grams of carbs, coming in at 56 calories. So now, guys, I have the totals for all my macronutrients and I have the totals for all the calories. Once you guys have all of your totals, you add them up and then literally just add them up. There we had a total of 48 grams of protein, 143 grams of carbs, and 37.5 grams of fat. So if we were to multiply them by each of their respective calorie count, for instance, each gram is 4 calories here, each gram is 4 calories, each gram is 9 calories, you get a total of 192 calories for protein, 572 calories for carbs, and 337.5 calories of fats. If you were to add all these up, guys, you would end up with a total of 1,101.5 calories. So depending on what your diet plan is, your diet program, you would pretty much just be adding everything up that you had for that day and making sure it is within that calorie amount. Now, your calorie amount that you eat per day can vary heavily because of your activity level, but that's a different video for a different day. For right now, guys, it's pretty much going to be a real simple and easy video to explain how you guys can track your macros without making it too complicated, because I know nutrition can be very complicated, so I tried my best to break it down as simple as possible. But hopefully this helped, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.